Action! Activate! Here we come! There they go. People rise, 'cause they know we're super soldiers. We got cool clothes. You real smooth when you see our pose. Tension! Energize! Mask off! Time to ride! Combine! Crease ties! Fly game!
Hey everybody, it is Action Activate. I am, as always, the Big Dog Defender, and with me, as always, is...
I am and will continue to be in the future Gazbot.
Wow! Well, you guys may have noticed a little bit different intro today, a little bit of change of scenery. So with that, we thought we'd mix things up a little bit. I'm going to be leading the initial news on this show. Gazbot's, of course, going to give his take. Will we argue? Probably. Will there be some Power Rangers content? Always. That's why you're here for Action Activate. So starting things off, we've had a lot of topics over the last week, some as frequently as a few days ago, some as far back as maybe even almost a month. Wanted to touch upon all of those. We've had some great conversations in the YouTube comments in the last videos, and especially on the Action Activate page. We've had some good conversations going there. So thank you, as always, to everybody who's participating there. We love talking to you guys, and as Gazbot and I respond, we usually do a good job at letting you know who's spitting the hot takes, as it were. So
Actually, I do a terrible job. You
you're
sign
really
it and
bad
I
at it.
don't. So if it's unsigned, it's me.
If it's signed, I try to, because usually mine are a little bit longer too, and yours is like, I don't know. And it's like, well, I
It's
don't know
true.
who said it.
My favorite response to anyone ever is just,
Yeah, just hey there.
yep.
So kind of starting things off, we've been talking about it the last couple weeks. We're not going to dive crazy deep into it, but last week, Legend of the White Dragon got funded on Kickstarter. Now, we knew it was going to get funded, but we didn't know how far into the funding it was going to get. So the good news is it got the highest stretch goal. It is going to be a feature-length film. Over $500,000 were raised for it. Literally in the last hour, I got myself a digital copy of it along with a lot of other people and pushed it over that limit within, I want to say 45 minutes or 30 minutes left. They went over, but it was cutting it pretty close, and definitely a good stretch for everybody who participated. Should be an awesome project. I know they're continually giving updates for that, and whether or not we're going to get the movie and the comics, we're unsure, but definitely going to see where that goes.
Doesn't it usually, and you followed it closer than I have, but most Kickstarters, it's usually like you get this, and then this, and this, and like builds on itself. So if they unlocked comic and then unlocked movie, wouldn't comic still be in the mix?
So the comic, I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I don't believe the comic is in the tier because they didn't know if it would be funded or how it would be broken out. So I think it was, let's get X amount of dollars, then we'll figure out the comic after and have probably a second Kickstarter or a follow up of, hey, even though we already got funded, if you want this specific item, pay for it. And then it was mainly for short movie, miniseries, extended series, or feature film. And feature film was the final stretch. The comic was kind of thrown in, not thrown in as if they didn't plan it, but it had the least amount of kind of description on the Kickstarter when I looked, and I looked pretty intently.
I mean, I'm looking at the page right now. Let me put it back up. I'm looking at the page, and it clearly has passed 500,000, like you said. But what's weird is on the bottom, and this might just be that they didn't update it, but the graphic still shows a lock on the feature film, and it shows a check on the comic book trade paperback prequel series. And that might just be they didn't update it, but
I think because it was at the last minute, they didn't update it, and maybe there's a lock where after I mean, you'd know better than me, but after it's funded, can you still update it or no?
I believe so. I mean, I haven't done a Kickstarter in a little while, but I believe you could always update it.
No idea then.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe there'll be a comic then.
I'd read it, but either way, Gazbot and I in the future will be able to watch this film together digitally
Yes.
and probably give our own review, whether formal or
Us?
informal.
That doesn't
I
sound like
know
us.
we don't like to give our opinion on things or talk about stuff, so it
No.
might be a stretch.
Certainly
We'll
not
see.
together.
Yeah, definitely not together. Most likely separate, but no, we'll see. That'll be cool though to eventually see that. I know they're doing a lot of changes. Some footage they're using, some they might not. But either way, I know that
That's the
at least
bummer
from
I felt
yeah,
is like some of the actors that were gonna be in it had me like not to be a bummer. I'm still interested, but like like Johnny Young Bosch probably is not going to be in it, and he was a big draw for me. And Yoshi Sudarso, I haven't heard anything one or the other. So it's like the actors that hadn't filmed yet, I kind of knew were up in the air, but like. I mean, Johnny Young Bosch is a scene already. So then, like you said, are they going to use it or not? But it's just a bummer. I know Jason Font's coming back, and that's cool. But honestly, I'm a bigger fan of Johnny Young Bosch than Jason Font. If I'm I'm
yeah,
being honest.
yeah. I happen to agree with you there, personal bias aside. But but yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I'm not a huge King Batch fan just because I didn't really follow him on his social media and his sketch comedy. He's a like Vine star and on YouTube, and
Is
he's
he one of the actors they announced that was in it? Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
that's okay. That's the thing that kind of like I didn't know who that was, and that's fine. And then there was a woman who I guess is a martial artist or something. I didn't know who she
Oh,
was either.
I forget her name, but somebody who was recently announced was in the Ninjak versus the Valiant
Oh, so
universe.
she's a Bat in the Sun person. Gotcha.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's all fine. And I guess the thing is, I don't mind these other people being in the movie, of course, but I felt like the big announcements should be the Power Ranger actors that are going to be in it. And when they put those up, it made me feel like, oh, is that it? No more Power Rangers actors? Like, that's still cool, but like this was supposed to be the Power Ranger, the quote unquote Power
Yeah.
Ranger thing.
I think part of it too is now that they, and this is me putting my optimist hat on, them having the funding
Could get more
and with
people back.
everything that's been going on, potentially things that were on the books for certain actors who couldn't commit to it, maybe now are like, hey,
Right.
by the way, I can't fly to X country to work on this movie. It got postponed or it got
But
canceled or
if
whatever.
it's in
So
the backyard of someone in LA or
yeah,
yeah.
like I'm local and I could work X
Honestly,
amount of
I would like it
weekends.
even if they got some cameos where people like filmed and just on the monitor and it's like whoever like Walter Jones like we need you back in the team. He's like I can't make it this time. Whatever. He was in the movie. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah. Or like somebody doing it from their house and just like, oh, something's happening. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of possibility for it. So I know the fact that it's funded is great. And whether or not it being a movie versus a series, like that's my big thing. Like, I, not that I was let down that I got a movie. I think it's going to be awesome
Hmm.
regardless of what format they do. But part of me is like, some things work better as a series than a movie, and
Yeah.
this could also be that way. So I'm kind of torn.
Here's my thought. Here's my optimist hat. They
Yeah,
make the movie. They do well. Maybe then they go, okay, now let's do another movie or let's do a series like with these characters in this storyline. If people are into it, they fund it, and then again they can bring more actors, whatever. But so that's it's also weird because like this is the second time they ran it and they got what they wanted last time. So like last time they wanted 500,000, right? And they didn't get it. They got like 200,000. And so they're like, okay, let's shoot a little lower, and then they got it. So it's like, what? Why? I don't know, but good for
um,
them.
I honestly think so. I was comparing the two because when you look, Legend of the White Dragon was its own Kickstarter. This one was called White Dragon because you can't have the same name for two like of
Sure.
the same Kickstarters. So with that, um, it was funny. I compared the two, and just the different tiers, I think, is what did it. They
Mm,
added so much additional stuff for this one that they didn't have to, like the custom pop figure. You
right.
could get,
The
I
artwork,
think,
poster, and
yeah,
stuff.
like there was tiers below $20
Right.
and there were many more above it. Whereas before it was like, buy the movie, buy the Blu-ray, be on set. And it was like,
And nothing in between.
what
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I just want to give you money and maybe I'll watch? Like, I don't
Right.
know. It
Yeah.
was,
That makes sense. I mean, that is common wisdom when people are doing Kickstarters. They say give a lot of options and have little ones for just $1 that people don't even want anything, and then have the big ones
yeah,
for like some ridiculous. Because like I do it for art, but people say like offer something like you'll paint somebody a picture for like $1,000, and probably no one will do it. But if they do, you get $1,000. Like
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I think their biggest was like 10,000, and they had a bunch of things like posters. Like mine, I think came with digital phone screens, a digital copy of the movie, and a digital copy of the script. And biggest thing that I like other than the movie is my name's gonna be in the credits, and it let you
Nice.
put whatever you want. So I put Big Dog Defender.
Yes, that's amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
So we'll look for that when it comes out. If any of you guys see it, please take a photo in the future if you're watching this in the future,
In the future,
and
yes.
yeah, put it somewhere or let us know. Um, but yeah, anything else you want to
Oh,
talk about?
tier 9. I was looking at it again. Tier 9 reward is get an exclusive signed white dragon helmet.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so they make the helmet, and it's that's pretty awesome. Especially if you're someone that already like I have a helmet, but there are people that like collect helmets and like having a unique one. Yeah, because it's not like
How,
you can go to Aniki or something and get it later. Well,
how
maybe who
much was
knows?
that?
Let me see. That was tier 9, reward 9. So let me see. Reward 9 is 7 is 2,500 or more. So, oh,
Okay.
and actually you get more. So for 2,500 or more, you get the White Dragon helmet signed by JDF, a Skype call with JDF, invited to the premiere, travel not included, poster signed by the cast, the pop collectible, the T-shirt, all the other stuff too. Yeah. So what was your level?
Like the $20 one.
Okay, so for $20, reward 2, you got the digital bundle of all the media, a digital download of the film, soundtrack, script, poster, name in the credits, and 6 digital backgrounds. So everything digital and your name in the credits. So that's not bad for $20 actually.
Yeah, I actually forgot about the soundtrack. I'm curious how that'll be because that's one that I've only seen their stuff that's like 100% copywritten. So they're
Right.
kind of limited with what they can do. So I don't know if they're gonna be like free music and do it, or if they're
No,
actually
with
gonna
that budget,
hire somebody to make it.
you can hire someone not like a huge big name, but you could get a competent composer to do that. What?
Oh, what if
Ron
they got
Wasserman?
Rod? Yeah.
That would be amazing, but I don't know. He would I don't know that he would have to do it because he thought it was fun. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I like as opposed to like what he normally gets probably, but 'cause, I mean, forgetting about Power Rangers, he's worked on everything. You know, like you look at
I
the
know.
90s, it's like yeah, but anyway, you want to go
I
into the
feel
Oh,
I
sorry.
was gonna say last thing, and then we'll move on. I feel like it all is hinged on how much of a relationship he has with JDF, because it
Agreed.
seems like historically, if JDF has a good relationship with somebody, he's great at negotiating something like, "Come on, man, just make an appearance. I'll do that." Like
Oh,
he,
the fans are gonna love it. The fans are gonna love it. Yeah.
yeah, like, "Oh, don't just give me $1. Like, will you do it?" Like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I think that's really cool. But um, let's take a look. Ooh, okay. This one I was really looking forward to. So more recent news. We got some Lightning Collection rumors slash things that were posted up. Some were like semi-confirmed because the listings were up, and some were not. So the first one right out of the gates that we have to talk about is the Psycho team.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts when you saw this posted? What did you think it was going to be? What was your reaction? Just kind of give me your rundown because we haven't talked about it at all.
Um, unfortunately, here, let me. I was trying to post so we can see it was just covering your face. I'm gonna turn that off. Unfortunately, kind of similar to my reaction to the other reveals, where I'm like, oh, okay, fine. It's not that I don't want them. It's just that like we've already gotten 3 psychos, and we've gotten 5 from the previous line like a year and a half ago, or not even like. So it's like, okay, yeah, I want the psychos, but I'm just like not excited. I'm not excited. It's not new. It's not different. It's yeah, and honestly, like if they had released pink and yellow first, even though the scale isn't right, that probably would have got me more psyched about the whole thing because I'd be like, okay, I finished my team. Then I could get the new ones and decide which I want to keep, which one to get rid of. But like, I'm glad they're doing it, but I'm also not like gonna be running out day one to get it because I'm not. Yeah, I don't know.
My reaction was I'm patiently waiting to see what it is. In a
Right.
perfect world, for most people, it would be black, pink, and yellow.
Yes.
What I actually just thought of that would be even cooler is it's pink, yellow, and silver, and then black is an individual release,
Why?
which because then people would have to buy black on their own to
Why? No, but you said what would be
finish
cooler. Why would that be cooler?
because you get silver instead of black.
But they could sell silver as an individual release.
I know, but I think there would be more drive for the 3-pack if so. I don't know. I kind of talked myself into a corner, to be
Yeah, I mean the
honest.
silver, the con exclusive silver did pretty well, and it still holds its value on the secondary market.
All right, here we go. Changing it up. We
Okay.
have. Ooh, I actually like this way better now that we're just having Hasbro steal all my ideas.
Yeah.
So black silver, and yellow in the 3-pack. Pink is an individual release with the Savage Sword.
However she's out, she should get the Savage Sword. You don't think she will, even if she's in a 3-pack or an individual?
I'm nervous. I mean, I'm pretty hopeful just because they've been really good on accessories.
Yeah.
Hasbro's done a good job.
Yeah.
But I feel like it'd be more likely in an individual release than gambling on a 3-pack.
Unless they do the thing where the 3-pack, let's say the figures are $20 each normally, like GameStop might be hikes them up, but let's just say $20. So a 3-pack should be $60, but sometimes it'll be 65 or 70. If they do that, then you get the Savage Sword and maybe an extra hand, or like they throw in the extras, and then they could justify, well, it's more expensive, but look at all the stuff you got. I could see them doing that actually, and then making silver an exclusive for something else.
Or they just throw a total curveball and it's not 3 psychos, it's 2 psychos and an in-space figure.
Let me see what the listing says, because we're all basing this on a listing someone found, and the listing says PRG LC, so Power Rangers Lightning Characters, 6-inch Psycho Ranger team pack. So it could be a 2-pack. I'm taking everything back. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be 1 Psycho and 1 in space, or 1 Psycho and 1 Lost Galaxy. That's what I think we're gonna see.
I think if you do pink with accessories and in space silver, we would all lose our minds.
I don't think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see. I don't think silver is going to be in it. I think silver will probably release.
No. In space silver.
Oh, I'm sorry. In space silver. Yes. Oh, yeah. That would be a great one because we do need in space. Sorry, I misheard.
Yeah.
No. Yes. That would be an amazing one. That's what it should be. That's what it should be.
Yeah. Either way, I wasn't the most hyped. I'm confident that I will complete my Psycho team before, like, sooner rather than later, based on what we've seen. So that was one.
If there's another character other than a Psycho in the 2-pack, I'll be way more excited because I know I'm gonna get the Psychos. But like you said, a Silver Ranger or somebody else from Lost Galaxy or somebody else showing up will excite me more.
Or like Pink versus Pink, Lost Galaxy versus
yes, I would be into
Pink
that.
Psycho.
Yeah, and I or if they decide to throw Astronema in, but I don't think they would do that. I think Astronema would be a named character. It wouldn't be a Psycho pack,
It's hard to say. I mean, like, the other thing too is a lot of times they're big on repacks. Like, we know we're going to get a Mighty Morphin Green later, but at the same time, Psycho Red and Lost Galaxy Red, we've only seen in that 2-pack. So it's like, I don't really know.
I mean, some people theorize that it could be a 5-pack of the entire team, which would be good for the people that didn't get Psycho Blue, which was an exclusive, but bad for everybody that got the red and the blue. Like, if that's the only way to release the other 3, that's really crummy. And I might not get it, or at least not get it when it's retail.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
But assuming it goes on sale, but it doesn't always. You know what I mean? Because I already own 2 of the figures, one of which was in a 2-pack. Now, granted, I wanted Lost Galaxy Red, so it worked out for me. But yeah, that's a bit greedy, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably gonna pre-order it. My only hope is it's not. I hope it's a fan channel exclusive and not a Walmart or GameStop exclusive.
Yeah. Oops, that's full screen. I think Walmart is worse than GameStop.
Yep.
Like the fan channel. Yeah, fan channel is good because then you have all these other different options, and also you can get them online at Big Bad Toy Store or something if you can't get out because of the pandemic still or whatever. But Walmart, I think we both agree, is the absolute worst.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
GameStop and Walgreens, I kind of put on the same level because both of them, I sometimes am able to get it no problem, and other times, no matter what I do, I can't get it. And it's inconsistent. Like you never know what you're gonna get. But sometimes I get them. I've never gotten anything from Walmart. Like they're just never have it. It's never there.
I think I've gotten Marvel Legends from Walmart, but I'm trying to think what else.
That I've
Black Series is hard.
Black Series, I did get a Luke Black Series, but I was like watching that like the second it went on sale because like I'm a huge, for those who know, Star Wars is a big collection of mine too. Luke specifically is like any Luke figure I want, and it was Jedi Luke, so it's like I have to have this. So I was literally like as though I was getting tickets to a concert or something, But other than that, I mean, I never saw. Jet Trooper, was that
carbonized?
I did get that, but that was another one where I was on there the day and the second because of you. But I never saw it in a store. You know what I mean? That's the other thing. Like most of these other places, if you find them, you can occasionally find them at a store. You might not, but people do. Um, going back to Marvel, like there was Worthy Cap where he had the Thor hammer. I never saw that in a store. Um, it's bad. It's very bad. Target I think is the best.
Yep.
Target always has enough. You might personally miss out, but your neighborhood Target is going to get some. And if you get there within a couple days, you'll get one. And they don't usually go crazy expensive. Sometimes I've even seen them go on sale. So I don't know. It's weird because like these companies want to make money. So especially when there's like pre-orders and stuff, it's like you get a pre-order for 50, make more, and then take another 50. Like I never quite understand that, but whatever. So yeah, I don't want. I agree with you. Fan channel exclusive.
Yeah. Next one on the list. I don't know. I don't remember the exact order on the actual thing itself, but we'll talk about Dino Thunder White. So we got one of these in the Legacy Collection.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on the one for Lightning?
Less excited than I was for the Psycho Rangers. Same reason.
Same, yeah.
He's an okay character. He's not. I like the suit more than the character. Like he's fine, but he's not one of my personal favorites. And I have a decent figure of him from the Lightning collection that I got into too long ago. And unlike the Psychos have the advantage of I never got to complete the set. I have an entire Dino Thunder set, so
Yep.
I'm not like, yeah. On the one hand I understand they're like, we're gonna stick it to Bandai who never completed the sets and whatever, but it's like. I don't know. Like, if anything, maybe release Dino Thunder Yellow because her symbol was wrong. They'd be like correcting something. Like, but yeah, I'm less excited about that than I am about Psychos, unfortunately.
How far are you in Dino Thunder?
I am on the episode where they cross over with Ninja Steel. I mean, not Ninja Steel, Ninja Storm.
Okay, then without saying anything, because I don't know where you are, I haven't seen that series in a while. I'm okay having 2 Dino Thunder Whites.
Oh, I know. Okay, yes, I know why you say that. I assume everyone else seems to know more than I do. So spoilers if you don't know. But yeah, I know that there's like an evil version. Well, first he's evil and good, and then he becomes good, and then there's this evil version, which is weird. And I think it's just
Yeah.
because I'm assuming in footage he never turned good or something.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that storyline because it just feels lazy and it feels very like we had to do this. Not it's a great idea, and they look exactly the same. It's not even like the evil one has like fire eyes or something different. So. Yeah, I guess if you're gonna have a duplicate, that kind of makes sense, but they're out of scale with each other, which I don't like. And I don't know, I'm just not excited about re-releases of figure like with Marvel, with Star Wars, I'm used to, hey, I bought this Han Solo, and then 5 years later, here's a better one. All right, I'll get it. But it's not been long enough, and there are figures we don't have any version of. You know what I mean? I don't want, even with Star Wars, I don't want a new Han Solo when I haven't gotten C-3PO yet. But like,
Yeah.
so like, give us characters we don't have at all, and then I will slowly replace. Like, I'm in a position where I had just about every figure from the Legacy collection. And
Yep.
as I've been buying the Lightning collection, I've been taking Legacy figures and getting rid of them. But I would much rather just grow the whole collection and then eventually get rid of them. But it's just like I'm just replacing figures instead of adding. And
Yeah.
so that anything like that doesn't excite me.
Yeah, I agree. Where there's some that I like having the replacement for, like Mighty Morphin's easy. We know that's going to happen. That's their moneymaker.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah.
I accept that. Other ones that I think get exceptions are ones that are either relevant in the comic or ones that are relevant in the show due to like a crossover. You want to keep going with Dino Charge? We didn't get it the first time. That's fine. You want to go into Dino Thunder because the crossover? Fine. I'll give you an exception. But other ones, it's like we never got a Ninja Steel. We never got
Right.
3 of the Rangers from Ninja Storm. If you want to dive into that, I'd give you a caveat there. Like certain stuff like that, I think it's interesting. And the one thing I will say though, because I know I actually had a nice little debate with Sierra Porter about it on the Facebook page, was I think a lot of focus is on the comics and people are kind of underestimating it just because the Psychos had their own comic.
Right.
They are now having their own expansion that just got kickstarted in the board game that we're going to talk about later. They had the most recent legacy collection figures, and now they're in the like early waves of the Lightning collection. So I think they're either going to come back later in a big way, or they're just riding the hype on them right now.
What do you mean by underestimating, though? Like,
Because I when it comes to a lot of these, like I've been saying that the comics do have relevance to what Power Rangers is putting out and the popularity of Power
Sure.
Rangers.
Well, I mean, yeah, Ranger Slayer, Draken. Yeah.
But taking those out, it's like, yeah, those are new characters and it touches on Mighty Morphin. Totally fine. I get that. But things that weren't touched on Mighty Morphin but were still relevant in the comics were In Space
Right.
and the Psycho Rangers. So that's why I think that's
Well,
kind
the
of
Psychos are safe. I mean, In Space and Psychos are safe anyway because they're probably the second most popular after Mighty Morphin in the fandom.
yeah. So now I think the big indicator is if we get any Solar Rangers or if we get Dino Charge Navy, that's going to be like, all right, I feel validated. We're good now. Like,
Dino Charge
go down
Navy
that rabbit
is a
hole.
little bit safer than Solar Ranger because even if people aren't reading the comics, they might know him from Sentai, or they might be like, oh, well, it's some other Dino Charge that I don't like. Like, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but Solar Ranger is like, yeah, if you haven't read the comics, like, who is this? Like, and her design is very different too. It's like not Power Rangery, for lack of a better term.
I agree. Next one, speaking of the comics,
Mhm.
that I'm stoked for, and I'm really curious your take on Evolution 3 Lord Draken.
I lost the link. I've been trying to pick it back up so that I could show this, and I don't know where it is. It was on IGN, right? Doesn't matter.
This one was Toy Wizards.
Oh, this is Toy Wizards. Oh, that would have made it so much easier. Um,
You just have to ask.
I am up with what we've been speaking about. I'm the most excited about this one so far.
Yes.
If the others I was like, this one I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not losing my mind over it. I kind of figured we would get another Draken eventually. I didn't think it would come this soon. I'm more excited because while I actually theoretically I prefer the vanilla base version, we already had that and we haven't had this. So going with what I was saying, it's a new figure, a new version, and I do like the black and gold. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it. I'll probably get it as soon as it goes up for pre-order because I don't want to miss out. So would I have picked it over a lot of other characters that don't have any version? No.
No.
But I prefer it over the Psychos and I prefer it over Dino Thunder White by a large margin.
Yeah, I
hope they do the gold good.
I know, same. So my first thought when I saw this was, I'm really hoping this is like Magna Defender, where it's not only a great figure, but like has an excuse to go with other stuff.
Yeah.
He just like you could throw him into a Star Wars display and be like, that's a Sith. That seems reasonable enough.
Yeah. All right, I found it again. Thank you. So this is the version we're talking about in case you're unfamiliar.
Yeah. So this was toward the end of the Shattered Grid event. I'm not going to go into why in case you haven't read it. Please go read it if you haven't. It's so
Agreed.
There's a shout out to Comic Drake. It's a YouTube channel I watch that just talks about comics in general. And he did a video that was kind of clickbaity and not the right way that said, the Power Rangers comic is weird.
Oh, I saw that. And then he goes through it. I'm like, there's nothing weird about this.
I know. So I was like, what? And he goes through, he interviewed Kyle Higgins and talked about it. And he's like, this comic's great. Go read it. I'm like, put a better title, man. That title was terrible.
It should be it's better than you thought or unexpectedly dramatic or something. Yeah,
to be fair, I don't know if I would have watched it if he's like, this comic's great. It's like, yeah, I already know.
No, but
it's
supposed to be for people that aren't reading the comic, who don't know about it. And if I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting. Go check that out. It'll get you hyped up for the comic, but mild spoilers. His spoiler scale / line is a little different than ours, so go in at your own risk. But finally, I know we talked about this a while ago. Spd Omega Ranger. I'm excited for it because shout out to Colin Bass, who portrays Sam in Shattered Past. I'm excited for the figure. I forgot how outrageously terrible that cycle is.
Oh, really? Well, okay. Continue.
I hate the cycle, and I'm probably gonna keep it because I don't get rid of anything. But I'm not stoked for the cycle, and I know that you're like, it's so goofy and terrible. I love it.
Yeah. Well, again, I haven't watched SPD, so I don't know how it works in the show. I don't know if it's cool. I don't know if it's stupid, but I'm not invested in the Omega Ranger. I like that he's a new character we haven't gotten. So it's weird. He's kind of tied with Draken for me because I'm glad he's a new character, but I don't really know him. Whereas Draken I know, but like, so I think I might like Omega a hair more just because he's actually a new character, but because I don't know him. But that being said, I do like him from the fan films you were just talking about with Colin Bass, so I get a little bit there.
Yep.
when I heard he was coming with a vehicle and that it was going to be a motorcycle, I wasn't super excited because there've been tons of Power Ranger motorcycles. Like, and they're all usually like, oh look, it's a motorcycle, but it's got a shark head. It's a motorcycle, but it's got a dinosaur head. So that, oh, it's going to be like a police motorcycle. It'll kind of look like the Blue Centurion, motorcycle, which I already have, and it's like,
Yeah.
And then when I saw that picture, which I'm going to put back up here, when I saw the picture of what, oh, sorry, I'm messing things up here. Where is it? There it is. When I saw the picture where it almost kind of looks like a unicycle, but like with one huge wheel and it's got like lights flashing, like it looks crazy. It looks like it won't be able to stand up on its own. Like it'll need a clear plastic like stand or something. It got me more excited for it. And how big it is, how high off the ground he is. Like if it's built that way, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the battle droids from Phantom Menace. They had these like step platforms they'd be on. It
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of that. And while that's not
And
my
the
favorite,
boop, boop, boop.
y- those are the super battle droids. That's not what I meant, but I could see a little bit of
Oh,
that too. I can see what you're
yeah.
saying with that. No, the regular battle droids, one of the early things that got released
Oh.
in the toys, it's sort of like hovers and that has a gun here. But like
Yeah,
the
I know
idea
what
is,
you mean.
like when you put it on a shelf, it's like up high and it's got like a little figure. It's like almost like it's a gun platform. And while that's not exactly what this is, it has that same feel of like it's this big piece of machinery he's on as opposed to like a motorcycle, and it just has like kind of a cool look. So I am more excited when I was saying about the figures being kind of equal because he has that. I'm the most excited about this figure.
I'm gonna go. So we'll just do a rough tier
Yeah.
based on what we talked about. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go Draken, Psychos, SPD, Dino Thunder.
I'm SPD, Draken, Psychos, Dino Thunder.
Okay.
So
I feel bad because I I'm less excited because I know it's going to be more expensive because it has the motorcycle, and
and
I
you don't want the
really just
motorcycle.
want, yeah, I just want my Sam to go with my Time Force Red,
Right.
and have him fight Psycho Green. Like, come on.
And that's fine, but like I said, I want the motorcycles, so it's fine
I
with me.
know.
And also, this is a good precedent that maybe we'll get some other vehicles eventually, or a little
Yeah,
cockpit
I
or
agree.
something. Yeah.
You gotta have something. But my other fear is that people are gonna be like me and be like, "That's dumb,"
And then it'll
and
go on
then
sale.
and no one will buy it, and then they're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be like, "Motorcycles don't sell," and it's like, no, I would have happily bought the Shark Cycle. The
Jungle
oh,
Fury.
why didn't they do that first? Oh,
Jungle
we
Fury is the forgotten season.
our headcanon
Yeah.
and like our hopes and dreams bum us out more often
Mhm.
than
I know. I know.
not.
I mean, SPD is a pretty popular season. As much as I love Jungle Fury, I acknowledge that SPD is more popular, so it makes sense that why they chose this motorcycle, I don't know, but like it makes sense that they would go with that season over Jungle Fury.
Yeah, I need an RJ really bad. And you need a Casey, so whenever
Yeah.
you interview people, you could just go, incorrect, that's Casey. One final thing talking
Yeah.
about Lightning Collection. So I've started to see companies have begun releasing teasers for their San Diego Comic-Con 2020 exclusives
Mhm.
that are now going to be online only.
Right.
What is your kind of initial call shot at what you think it'll be?
I got a hole
I'm
in my shirt.
assuming it'll. Oh wow. I'm assuming it's going to be a multi-pack, but if you want to go single, whatever you think, I'll give you up to 2 kind of call shots of what you think it could be.
You go first because you've been thinking about it and I have not.
I clearly have. So last year they used it in a way to announce. Oh, I just came up with another one. Wow. They used it last year to announce that Austin St. John was going to return for Beast Morphers. So they did a Jason 2-pack.
Right.
So my initial thought was you can re-release uh, Beast Morphers Red, but you can also release another character in that episode. And I haven't seen the crossover in years, so I don't know this. But you can release another character that either A, you haven't released, or B, in a
Mm.
form that would be hard to get. So if you did like a Beast X Red Ranger,
Right.
you have the same base figure with attribute and stuff. And then you could also do like Triassic mode or something for Dino Thunder. So you get that out there. So that was an initial guess. I'm gonna change it to 3 just because I didn't think of this other one until now.
Okay.
You can also do an Omega Ranger kind of set, the ones from the
Oh,
comics.
yeah.
Yeah, because they had the helmets at Boom Studios. If you did either a multi-pack or just a single figure of it to
That's
kind of
gotta
get it
be a
out there.
unique mold though, is the thing.
Well, here's the thing.
But then they re-release them later.
They'd either
Yeah.
re-release it later, or maybe it's not a unique mold. Maybe it's the base figure like they use for the putties, and then they just put a shield over it and use unique paint. The only unique mold would be the helmet.
Potentially. I'd have to look at it more closely, but all right. So wait. So was that 2 or is that 3? That you
That
just
was 2. The other one I thought of is similar to how they were hyping up the following season of Power Rangers. What if they just straight up
that would be
did a pack
amazing.
of like, hey, here's a Red Ranger for Dino Fury in a special package with extra accessories.
I'll do 3, and I'm just gonna agree right away with that one because that they did that with Star Wars a lot, where the new movie's coming out and they're like, here's the new Stormtrooper and it's the exact same figure with a different package, but it comes out like a year early, and people
And
will
with
eat that
like
up.
5 million accessories.
Yeah, and yeah, so I could see them doing Dino Fury Red. Yeah, I think that I absolutely think that's a realistic prediction. So I'll steal that. I also I mean I'm gonna be on kind of the same track with you. The 2-pack that would have something to do with the crossover. But I'm gonna go a slightly different direction. I think they're going to re-release instead of Beast Morpher Red, they're gonna do Dino Thunder Red because he came out earlier. So there might be people
Oh,
that
you
don't
mean
have
Dino Charge?
Dino Charge. Sorry, Dino Charge Red.
Got you.
And maybe they'll give him not Beast X mode, but what do you call it when they have the armor?
Oh, I know the Japanese name was Carnival, but I
No, no,
don't
no, I'm not.
remember.
Oh, I would love that. Oh, I didn't even think of that. No, I was thinking though, like they get like the
Dino
armored up.
Superdrive?
No, no, you're way off. I'm not talking about a whole new mode that would require a new figure. I'm saying they get the extra armor on their arm, and it's just like Dino something mode. They all could do it.
Yeah, I said I thought it was Superdrive.
No, that's when they get the battery on their chest and they're piloting. I'm
Oh,
saying it's just like a little armor on their arm.
yeah, I know. I forget what it's
Okay,
called.
and there's a silver one and a gold one. I think the gold one was American only. So maybe they just have that because it's just an extra piece they could put on there. So they're re-releasing the figure for people who missed it, but also it's got a little extra, but no one's gonna
Oh,
be.
and you can get the little hand clamp too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I'm thinking red, but they could do it for any of them. But red's already done. Then the other figure, make it the Navy Death Reuser or whatever his name was, because I don't know if he's in the crossover. I don't think he is. But Sentai fans know who he is, comic fans know who he is, and if you're picking it up and you don't really know what's going on, you're like, well, they're 2 dinosaur Power Rangers, you know what I mean? So, and it's such a niche thing that they like to do that for Comic Con, where like, and if it sells really well, then maybe they re-release it. Who knows, you know? But that's my prediction is that it'll be 2 Dino
Oh,
Charge.
I would love to get that figure. I would just be so stressed trying to get it.
My other prediction is Psycho Silver. I don't think he's going to be in any 2-pack or whatever. I think he's not going to be released normally. He was the original one from the Legacy Collection was released at Comic Con
2
and
years ago.
2 years, and then also Green, and they released Green as a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. So maybe that was going to be a Comic Con one as well. Who knows? But Silver is the least important, least popular Psycho because until they change the canon with the comics, which they might, he only exists as a suit that the Silver Ranger made as like a trick. So, and I still want it. It's cool looking, but it's not a real character. Green, at least, is a real character in the comics. So it's such a niche thing that only completists or huge Power Ranger fans are going to want it. So I feel like that's why that would be an exclusive, something like Comic Con.
Yeah, either way, I'm hoping that Pulse treats us well. I'm going to put out vibes to the Pulse gods and that we have good luck similar to last year. But that's a big thing for
Yeah.
Comic-Con stuff coming out. I mean, I know you and I always stress about it.
Right.
And now that Rangers is more in the mix with Hasbro than Bandai, that's why, like,
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe they'll be like, hey, remember when you used to get really hyped up for Morphers? Boom! And it's like,
Well, the way it used to go with the morphers, with the dagger, any of the big stuff, it was impossible to get. I mean, people got them obviously, but I was at Comic Con trying like you can't get them unless you're super lucky and tenacious. The figures you could pretty much get. I mean, not everybody got one, but if you're like, I'm gonna make a point of getting that, you'll get it. But like all the other stuff, the big high end stuff, never. I never even tried. It would be like that, no point.
Well, part of it too, though, was it was at Bandai. So what other things are there that people would kind of do a catch-all? You would have if it
Dragon
was with,
Ball, Gundam, I don't know what else, but those are all big things.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the people who like per on average, when you go over to those, that's like the next tier in
You're
like
you're ma-
collectibles.
you're entering an error here because Hasbro has Transformers, Star Wars, GI Joe, it's My Little Pony, Magic the Gathering.
No.
Hasbro is like the biggest booth at Comic-Con. It is the most
I know,
popular.
but they also have more inventory than Bandai did.
Yes.
Bandai's booth is smaller, they have less inventory, and they have more people willing to buy multiple items
Right.
for the higher end
So
collections.
your argument is that Bandai wasn't as popular as Hasbro, but they had less.
Correct. And the
Okay.
clientele that would buy at Bandai there already knows, like, yep, that Gundam's 150, this dagger's 100, yep, and just go through the line. Whereas Hasbro, I mean, last year we went through the line and we got a lot of stuff, but that was the thing. It was like I got the Star Wars figure that's 30 or 40. I got the Power Rangers thing that was like 40 or 60. Like we got a lot of stuff and it was like, "Oh, we spent less than they did and have like
I,
all of the exclusives we
That's
wanted."
true, but I've gone multiple years, and usually Hasbro kills me. Cause the last year was an anomaly. Cause usually I come home with a Fort Max or a Metroplex, or people come home with the aircraft carrier from Shield. Like, there's usually something that's $100 plus in a gigantic box, in addition to all the other stuff. So that last year was kind of an anomaly that they didn't have that one or two huge things. Like, they had the Revolution set of that huge GI Joe set. So like it. Your point is still taken that it might be easier, especially with Hasbro Pulse. Although Hasbro Pulse, I took a survey recently and I told them, I'm like, I'm not thrilled with your service, like, because they consistently, I order stuff from them and I get free shipping, but then I see other people getting it first, or it shows up in Target first, or it shows up in Target, is out for a month, goes on sale, then I get mine from Hasbro Pulse, and it's like, what? But the newest saga is they've been releasing new figures, like the Power Rangers figures and stuff, and I got us some Green Rangers, and that went fine. They released a bunch of new Star Wars figures, and a lot of them were selling out everywhere, but two of them sold out on Hasbro Pulse like right away, but were still available on Amazon and Target regular price, not like jacked up. So Amazon free shipping still had it in stock. I think it was the new Stormtrooper and maybe the Mandalorian or something. But like ones that you would expect to be popular, like somehow Hasbro is out before Target, and it's a pre-order. Hasbro makes the figures. So I think that they have some kind of deal with
Yep.
the people, like, we're not going to sell more than X so that you definitely get yours, which is fine, except I'm theoretically paying for a service at Hasbro so that I get special treatment. If I'm not getting special treatment, why am I paying for it? I'll just go to Amazon.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's 100% valid,
yeah.
and that's my biggest thing. Last year, I should have done what you did, ordered a figure. I almost did, missed the
Right.
cutoff, and then thankfully one of the two of us have it. But
Right.
as it comes up for renewal, that's definitely something of like,
Well, that's why I say theoretically, because I've had it for a year for free, and I'm dissatisfied. So I don't think I'm going to pay for it, which is
yeah,
which is terrible advertising. Like, I had it for a year, I should be like, well, that was good. I should keep it going. But it's like, meh. Yeah, it's is it the worst service I've ever had? No, but I wouldn't pay for it. And unlike Amazon, which has had better service and better inventory, which I also pay for, but I also get like other things I could buy besides toys, and I get television shows that I watch. Like, you get more, So it's
yeah.
yeah, and I could share it with my mom and my wife and everybody, So
The thing I think to keep in mind for it, for Pulse in general, is I need to look, because I haven't very well, at what their free shipping tier is, if there is
mm,
one. Because like a lot of stuff we usually order
keep
together,
talking. I'm gonna look.
and it's like, oh, I get a Psycho, you get a Psycho, we got a pack of putties, and you ordered a Star Wars figure, and you know what? Hey, let's order this Transformer from them so we get free shipping. Like, if it's
Yeah.
$100, if it's $50, like that to me is the threshold of, as a non-member, what is incentivizing me to order from you versus somebody else outside of exclusives to your website? And if I'm ordering exclusives from your website, is it even worth it after shipping?
I'm not finding an easy answer. I'm sure it's on there somewhere, but I thought it would be like, oh, add more to your cart to get free shipping or something, and I
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that one more strike against them that they're not making that clear. But and also going back to exclusives, the only exclusive I think they've had is Psycho Green, right?
Snake Eyes.
Oh yeah, but that was probably going to be a convention exclusive, if we're being honest.
I think it was both. I think it was like for a small niche convention, or it was like for HasCon or something, and then they also
They
did
do
it
have a
online.
GI Joe convention as well.
Yeah, so it was those. The troops are all exclusive on there.
The
The
troop builder
Hydra
was okay.
Soldier, yeah, the Stormtrooper and the putties and
Stormtrooper
there's
from
I
Star
think
Wars. Oh, one of the
I think
carbonized ones.
I think one of them is going to be like $15 and have just like bare bones everything.
Well, the exclusives we've seen, I could live without all of them. The Green Psycho is the one I'd most want, but if I had to pay a couple extra bucks and I really wanted it, whatever. But like all the troop buildy stuff, like that interests you more than me. Basically,
Specifically the putties.
yeah, I feel like you are more likely to get a Hasbro Pulse membership than me at this point.
Yeah, honestly, and it
yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, well, hey, it'll be nice for me to have you order me stuff for a while.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm hoping, especially now, they rethink the strategy on Pulse as they're coming at the 1 year mark, because I can't imagine it's going to stay the same. They're just going to have a drop off of everybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, because everybody's been free unless they missed it and then signed up like later, which I guess you could have. But...
There are people that are paying for it, like that. Just statistically, that's how it is.
Sure,
but
yeah.
I think once people no longer have like what you have of the free incentive of it, they either run that promo again, or they go, we got to rethink this because people aren't ordering from us as much as other places.
Here's the other question that I don't know that you have an answer to, but if you don't have a membership, you can still buy from them. You have to pay for shipping, and you don't necessarily get first dibs or whatever. With their exclusives, like the Putty Pack and things like that, can you buy the exclusives if you don't have a membership?
I believe so. I think it's just exclusive to their website.
So then there's even less incentive because I'm like, well, if I worst case scenario, I have to pay shipping on the exclusive figure. Okay.
But that's the thing. I don't know how much that adds up to. Where is it's that classic thing? Like we talked about it for Barnes and Noble. I know I believe you still have a membership for them.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I'm gonna buy this big ticket item. If I pay for the $10 membership, I save $20, and additionally I get 10. Like if it's like.
Well, but what I'm saying is, at least for me, assuming everything stays the same the way it's been going, I'm not going to re-up my Hasbro, and most of the figures I'm going to end up buying through Amazon or somewhere else. Probably Amazon, because I get free shipping through Amazon, or another site where if you get X amount, it's free or whatever. And I will probably get them sooner, and I'll have free shipping. So the only ones I'd be buying from Hasbro are the exclusives. And unless they release a big, huge playset or something, it's going to be one figure. How much could shipping be? $5? $10?
Well, the other thing, like both of us don't care about it, but the God Neptune combiner is one that you can only get from. I know we both don't, but like some people do.
Well, I thought you had more of a chance of caring about it than I did, to be honest. Well, it's not canon, so I don't care. And I thought maybe it was in the comic, or you just thought it looked cool.
Not for $185.
No, but you are more likely to buy a cool-looking Transformer that isn't from the original canon than I am.
100%.
Yeah.
The other thing that is a curveball for this, and then we'll move on to the next topic, is I know last year, and we're forgetting this, you had early access to the San Diego exclusives online.
Yes. Yeah.
That in itself was like huge.
That's true, but since it's not going to happen, well, I still have my subscription. I'll say San Diego's not happening this year, so is it worth re-upping? But I have it till December. So
no, I know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is playing devil's advocate of if it ended in June.
Yeah.
Would you re-up specifically for that? And by that I mean, would we split a subscription so we both have access to that?
Yeah, maybe that splitting it for that purpose, maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, all things being equal, nothing changing. When mine runs out in December, maybe come June, I'll be like, maybe I should re-up it. But I don't think you're going to wait that long. I think you're going to be like, no, I want it in January or February. I think you're going to want it before I'm going to want it.
It all depends on how the Pulse subscription continues,
right?
And if they're going to continue to ramp up their Pulse exclusives,
right? Yeah, true.
Because a year ago, half of these we didn't even talk about. It's like, what do you get from Pulse? A handful of con exclusives and regular figures.
Right.
Okay. Well, what's the benefit? Well, I get free shipping. Okay. Now it's like I get specific troops for $15 a piece.
Right.
I get this combiner you can only get on here. I get an exclusive Psycho figure. I could have got a Snake Eyes when it was only $40 and not $200 or whatever.
They do have the HasLab stuff too, but I don't think you have to be a Hasbro Pulse member to do the HasLab stuff.
No, you don't. That's just traditional crowdfunding through them.
This is not Power Rangers, but it is Hasbro and Hasbro Pulse. they sneakily announced that they're going to have a gigantic Marvel figure coming out, a robot. It's either a huge Sentinel or maybe Master Mold, but gigantic, biggest one they've ever had, and it's most likely going to be a HasLab.
The leg is literally this big.
Yeah, I think it's actually bigger, to be honest.
Yeah, it's enormous.
Going back to the idea too that could be something that Power Rangers fight Star Wars, like it could fit into any collection once you get, or just be a big robot on your shelf. We don't know how much it's going to cost. Are you more or less likely to get it? Like we don't know the money, but like if you had to guess, do you think you're probably going to get it? Or you're probably not going to get it.
The Sentinel or Master Mold or whatever.
Whatever that
100%.
thing is, 100%.
Yeah, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Unless it's like a certain amount of money.
Well, I think they're gonna sell it as a Build-A-Figure. I thought.
How?
Break it into tiny pieces.
No. What? No. Originally, I think there's miscommunication here. Originally, they talked about making one of the biggest Build-A-Figures they've ever made. Then they
Yes.
put out the Sentinel leg. And a lot of people thought, oh, it's going to be this gigantic Sentinel Build-A-Figure. But I've since read things that were like, no, I think they communicated that this isn't an official release because none of this is official.
Oh, got it.
The idea is
Okay.
like they're going to have a big Build-A-Figure in the next year or so. Also, what's this leg? And it was a weird timing thing.
Oh,
Because
got it.
if the leg is that big, they would have to break it up into like 2 or 3 waves. And that is possible, but I think it's way more likely, and because of things I've read too, that it's going to be the next HasLab project because they did the sail barge for Star Wars. They did Unicron for Transformers. They did that weird Cookie Monster, which came out of nowhere that didn't get funded. And then the idea is that this giant Sentinel or Master Mold is going to be for Marvel. And that makes way more sense. So assuming that's the case, which I believe it is, now do you think you're likely to get it or not?
Price is a big thing because there's 2 schools of thought.
Mm-hmm.
They've released Titan-sized combiners.
Yes.
And just Titan-sized figures for roughly 150 retail.
Yes.
Either this is going to be bigger than those or as big as those and cost $300+ or they go, hey, we released those for 150. This one's only 100. Pay up, boys and
There's
girls.
no way would they do that. I mean, if they want people to army build, I guess that's
What do people army build? Sentinels.
If it is a Sentinel and not Master Mold, which a lot of people are saying, it's a bigger Sentinel, bigger than the Sentinels that make Sentinels Master Mold, which you could still army build, but it's not quite as generic,
Yeah, I have 3 Sentinels right now for the ones they released.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see myself getting it, but kind of like Unicron, I was like, in theory, actually no, Unicron I sold myself out of because I personally don't have a space that I would put it.
Right.
I'm so glad funded it and am crazy excited to see that thing tower over in your house.
I have a spot, which is nuts because I don't have any spaces, but I'm like, well, that's where it'll go. And I'm a bigger Transformers fan than you are, I think, and especially G1. And
Yes.
so I had to have it. Also because it's like, in addition to those things, it's just like a part of toy history and Transformers
Yes.
history in a way. And I definitely think it's one of those things. If I didn't get it then, as expensive as it was,
You'll never get it.
I'll never get it, and it'll be more expensive. So that's it. That's my one chance. And yeah, so I sold a bunch of stuff, and I got it. And I don't even know when it's coming. Like I've forgotten about it. Like it's like they've funded it and it's happening, and one day it's gonna show up, and I'm gonna be like, oh right, I forgot about this.
And you're gonna get another charge like, hey, we need another $80 so we can give it to you. I don't know. We'll see.
No. All right, we're almost out of time. Do you want to do one more thing? One more story?
So I'll just touch upon this. We talked about the Heroes of the Grid expansion for the villains for the Machine Empire and the Psycho team and In Space Ranger team. I personally didn't fund it. Debating on doing a late fund on it. I think
it's still going, yeah.
No, it ended, but you could do a late
Oh, it says final hours. Oh, I guess they didn't update theirs either. Yes, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah. Are you thinking of getting it or hard no?
Oh, hard no. I haven't gotten any of the game stuff.
I couldn't remember. Well,
I
I'm
like the
guy with
artwork and I like the premise, but I like you, I would never play it. but I'm more self-aware that I would never play it. The other thing is I was tempted to, and I do like the artwork, and like some of it was actually worked on by Matt Frank, who I semi kind of know. So like I want to support him and stuff, but I couldn't justify spending money on something that I'd never play. The only thing that would have got me to do it is these figures are pretty cool, and there are a lot of characters that haven't been released, but they're unpainted, and I would never paint them. So it's like, yeah. And once I skipped the first set, it's like I'm out. Like
Yeah.
I can't buy an expansion for a set I don't have, and so I love them. I'm happy they're making them. I'm happy for everybody. I hope they keep doing expansions. It's just not for me.
I have people that have agreed to play it with me. It's a little difficult right now,
Sure.
but I have it locked in.
Right. Well, that's good.
But in general, you are right. One thing I do want to actually talk about. We never formally talked about the announcement of Dino Fury.
Okay.
Initial, I guess not initial anymore, but thoughts on the name, on the synopsis that we got. What's kind of your take overall?
Like most people on the internet, I was not thrilled with the name. Because I thought it would be Dino Knights or something like that, which seemed to make sense and just was cool and more unique. I know there were people saying reasons why legally they couldn't. That maybe that's true, but I don't care. Like I
Yeah.
care that like okay, but it's like it still doesn't stop me from being disappointed. And
Yeah.
it's not that sort of like I'm a fan and I want it to be what I want, but it's just like Dino Fury. We have Jungle Fury. Like it just seems lazy. Like I don't love it. It doesn't. It's not gonna ruin the show for me, but it's kind of like with the Psychos. It's like all right, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna watch the show. I like the suits. It seems interesting, but Dino Fury, really? That's the best we could do? All right, Um,
I-
I don't know. What about you?
I will say, initially, I really didn't like the name Beast Morphers, and it's kind of grown on me.
Hmm.
I have a feeling with this, it'll be similar, just because I don't love the name, but I don't hate it as much as I hated Beast Morphers.
I didn't
As
mind
a
Beast
name.
Morphers actually.
I thought it was kind of weird and didn't make sense at the time. Also, I had seen some of Go
Go
Busters,
Busters.
so that's why I was like, "Oh, what? This makes no sense. What?" And then like they actually made a story and backstory, so it was fine. The synopsis is very Mighty Morphin, like hard, like
Right.
evil space aliens coming to Earth and teenagers with attitude kind of thing are going to stop them. I'm hoping, I'm wishing, I'm Hasbro. Uh, I really am hoping that they lean into, yeah, it's dinosaurs, yeah, parallels the Mighty Morphin, and it's still its own thing and strong. I
I
hope they're not overly relying on it.
I don't even care how much winking to the camera and like leaning into it's like Mighty Morphin they want to do because kids are not going to get those references. They could like
Yep.
redo all the same stuff and kids won't get it, and they want to suck in adults that aren't us that are like, oh, Mighty Morphin, this kind of reminds you, and then maybe they see their kid watching it. So I don't really care how much they do that because it'll be fun as long as the stories are still good. I'm mostly worried about the teenagers and high school stuff. I'm not against that, but it's been done badly so many times. And like I just like all the seasons where they're not like it's not that they're young, it's just it's the high school part of it. Even if they are kids in high school, I don't want to be seeing like, oh, I have a math test, I should study for it, but I'm not. And oh boy, let's do the car wash to raise money, and you did that wrong. Boop boop. Like, and even that could be done well, but often it's not, and it's just like and that's one of those things too. When I was a kid, I didn't even love that stuff. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
it's like this seems goofy. Who cares? Like I don't know. I think they could be set in a high school without having to deal with the high school politics and stuff. But I don't know. But again, if it's written well, it could be good. But it's never written well. It's never written well. Like you know what I mean?
We've been surprised by Hasbro so far.
Yes. That aside, I think the suits are good. I think the helmets are great.
Yeah.
So I like the swords with the dragon thing on the edge of it and stuff. So I like the Zords that I've seen. So like the look of it looks really good. I mean, I'm definitely we're gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I
But,
really hope that there is some, and there probably won't be, but I really hope there's some continuity from Beast Morphers from all the seasons. But at least it would be great if an actor came over, even if it wasn't one of the Rangers, even if it was like a side character, like Ben or Betty or something, just something to really connect it the way they used to. And it's weird because that Zordon era, as they call it, may or may not have been the best seasons. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my favorite seasons aren't necessarily those, or whatever. They're good, but there's a special place in canon and in popularity and everyone's heart. And part of it's, yeah, because people were young when they saw it, and it was like Mighty Morphin was the early one. But like in space and Turbo and stuff like that, that's not the first one they saw, but it was still part of that lineage, and you cared because it was connected to what came before. I don't know why they're so afraid to do that. I know they want new kids to come in and not have all this baggage, but kids are kids. Like, most kids don't care. There's like, oh, cool, superheroes. What? Oh, he's friends with that old superhero? Okay. And they used to have cars, whatever. They just roll with it. It's the same thing with comic books. They're always trying to restart Spider-Man #1. Like, when I read Spider-Man or whatever it was, or X-Men, I'd get like issue 213. I wouldn't know what was going on. Wolverine seems cool. Oh, they fought this guy before. Let me go find that old issue. Oh, there's still 1,000 other issues I've never read. Fine, whatever. I'm just gonna read. And I feel like that's how kids are. And it's gonna be the same with Power Rangers. But they're like, I don't know. I get refreshing it, but they don't have to throw away everything that came the season before.
I agree. I think also, and they touched upon it in the beginning of Beast Morphers, they brought up Rita and Zed,
Yep.
and they brought up Sledge. So clearly there's previous Power Rangers that they're acknowledging, whatever. But the other thing too is just kind of like, I know they do this more in Kamen Rider, and I don't have a great knowledge of Kamen Rider. Let me just preface that now. But what I do understand is whenever there's a change in the leader at the time of the country, then they have a new era. Like the current Kamen Rider is in a new era. We're in the Hasbro era. If you want to acknowledge a couple things like Mighty Morphin, because everybody knows Mighty Morphin, and then talk about Beast Morphers and have that continue, like, this is your way of doing that organically.
If Beast Morphers is the beginning of the new era, and you mostly reference this new stuff, that's fine. You're still creating, like they'll say there was the Zordon era, this will be the Hasbro era, or whatever ties it together. Maybe there'll be something else. Maybe the Morphex Towers or the Morphing Grid is like the thing that they all talk about. Just some through line, and this will be I absolutely agree.
And it's another thing, I know comic books specifically do this, where they do hard reboots and soft reboots. This is a soft reboot. Hasbro took over. You've talked about some things in the past, and as certain plot points come up, dig into them more. But yeah, Power Rangers happened. We've acknowledged Zordon and Rita and Zed and all that, and obviously Jason's coming back.
Right.
You don't need to go into the Zeo stuff unless it's relevant. We don't need to touch upon any plot holes with Zordon dying. We don't need to go into Turbo.
Here's
and
what they
being
should do.
Pizza.
You brought up Kamen Rider, which, like you, I don't know that well. But what I do know really well is Doctor Who. They should treat it like Doctor Who. There's like 50 years of history of Doctor Who, and there was 8 doctors, and there's conflicting continuity and all this stuff. They had New Who start, 10, 15 years ago with Chris.
It was 06.
Okay, so 14 years ago with Chris Eccleston. He came in as the new Doctor. There was an acknowledgement that there were other doctors and other adventures, but they don't really get into it, and you could have never seen any of that stuff. But all of the Doctors since Chris Eccleston is a linear story that connect together, reference each other, and they will sometimes pepper in other stuff from the old adventures. They'll throw a little thing out here, an old villain will show up, but not in a way where you had to have actually seen it. They'll just be like, oh, I remember you from 80 years ago, and it's fine. But if you happen to have seen that old one, it's like double good. And so that's how they could treat Power Rangers, starting with Beast Morphers. Have a new continuity that does connect, and you should watch in order, but pepper in other guest stars or other references that you don't need to know everything. It's just, oh, here's a villain that we didn't know before, but apparently he was here 20 years ago or whatever. That's how you do it.
Perfect example is the crossover from Ninja Steel, where it's like, if you didn't know those Rangers, cool.
It doesn't matter.
If you did know those to be honest, like, we both love RPM. I didn't love Gemma, but it was really cool to see her and see how that universe tied in. And other than that, you're like, she's shiny and silver.
Right.
Like,
and going back to the kid thing, let's say Ninja Steel is the first season they've ever watched, and they love it. And it's, oh, these are my Power Rangers, and then Brody's the best Red Ranger ever. Oh, remember that one episode where there was like a whole bunch of other outer space, other dimensional Rangers? That was awesome. Then they get a little older, and they're like, wait, there are whole shows for those? You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to overthink it. It's just a fun episode with a bunch of superheroes they hadn't seen before. So, yeah.
And then, like us, love it, watch it, review it. So, it makes sense. I think that's a good spot for us to wrap up.
Agreed.
Is there any final thoughts you have?
No. Oh, well, next week we're going to have a guest.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
We're going to be talking to, do we want to say, or do we want to keep it a secret?
We'll keep it a secret.
Okay.
We've definitely talked about the project that this person's involved with numerous times.
Yes.
For those of you who know, you're going to be pretty excited. For those who don't, hopefully, like we just discussed, it's a way of you going back and checking out the previous work, especially if you have some free time.
There
So,
you go.
with that, please stay active on our social media. We have been checking it outside of today pretty frequently,
Mhm.
and love to interact with you guys. Love hearing your thoughts, your comments, getting some healthy debates in there. So, check us out on Facebook. Check us out in our Facebook group. Check us out on Instagram. Check out Gazbot's personal page on both Facebook and or Instagram. And I have been and continue to be the Big Dog Defender. You are,
Gazbot!
and to the power, guys.
To
See
the
you guys
power.
later.
And girls. And dogs.
Everyone,
All-
however, whoever
the-
you are as a person,
all
we
them.
acknowledge you.
All
and,
them.
and to the powers.
The powers that Austin Powers.
All the powers. I actually was just talking about that movie the other day.
I just rewatched it for the first time in a really long time. It is not as good.
The second one's pretty good. I had a debate about best comedy sequels, and the second one was in there.
I haven't rewatched that. What I came away with the first one was I remember watching it and thinking it was the funniest thing ever. It's not that funny anymore. I mean, it's mildly amusing, but
Yeah.
the production design and the music and like the way they filmed it to look like it was in the past, like I appreciated
great.
the way they made the movie, which I didn't before. So like the comedy I don't like as much, but the movie making was incredible. So people change is what I'm saying. People change.
Lots of change.
Change. All right, the credits are over. We should stop talking.
Whoop.